Fox News is insane. They've got people on there who are willing to lie, and they don't care. This channel is not a news station, but people actually trust this for news. And even if they were to say, it's raining outside, I'm going to go outside and actually check, because that's how much I actually distrust Fox News. And in fact, one of the people who are on Fox News is one of the people that most people really hate is Coulter. And Coulter is not above making bullshit statements and lying. In fact, she recently came out and said that because we've got an election year coming up here shortly.
We do?
Yes, we do here in 2016.
Shit.
Yes. So make sure you vote twice, Joe.
I just recovered from the last one.
I know. Just make sure you vote. Just make sure you vote twice, just like a good Democrat does. Oh, wait a minute.
I'm gonna set up a total trolling fucking Twitter account. And I'm just gonna fuck with people all next year. That's all I'm gonna do.
There you go.
All day, all night, fuck with people on Twitter about the election.
There you go. Now, the reason I was saying that is to say vote twice, because Coulter seems to think that Democrats are responsible for voter fraud, when in fact it's not true. It's actually reversed. Republicans are actually...
Well, they're obstructionists.
Yeah, they're obstructionists, yes.
Yeah,
but
I would say that the conservative is more obstructionist than voter fraud.
No, but they do commit...
Voter fraud is a pretty strong claim.
Actually, there is strong evidence for the fact is that they do commit more voter fraud than the Democrats do. But that's not all. She's also advocating voter suppression by saying that you have to take a literacy test to actually vote. She said it more than I can say, Coulter said. I think it should be, well, for one thing, a little more difficult to vote. There's nothing unconstitutional about literacy tests. She apparently does not.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. She doesn't.
They're straight up unconstitutional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They are. There's a great wiki on this. It's on the literacy test on this. And this was dropped back in the 1960s. 1967, if I'm not mistaken.
65 for the Voters' Right Act?
Yes, I think that's, 64. Yeah. The fact is that she's not only mistaken, blatantly ignorant and mistaken on this. A fellow guest and executive director of Accountability Project, I'm going to probably murder this name, and I do apologize, Nomadi Kunst, pointed out that literacy tests were made illegal in 1965, the Voting Rights Act. But she doesn't care. She doesn't care. She wants to continue this literacy test, which is highly unconstitutional. Joe, your thoughts?
Well, yeah, it is unconstitutional. And I watched this video with Coulter, and I couldn't help but think that, wow, like what universe does she live in? Because she made some baseless claims. She said, like, she kept saying, like, Democrats are stuffing the ballot boxes, they're committing voter fraud, and one of the people on the show actually said to her, like, well, you can't really say that. And she's like, well, there's video of it. There is? Like, really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's like if you repeat a lie enough times, it becomes truth.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what Fox News reporting does. Like, not all Fox News reporting is straight up lies, but there are certain narratives that they allow to come through, and they don't challenge it, and those narratives seem to trickle down into like, your crazy uncle's news feed on Facebook. Like, I can kind of tell, like, I don't watch Fox News very much, but I can kind of tell what Fox News is talking about based on the conservative people I know on Facebook by what they're ranting about.
Yeah.
What they're getting outrageously angry over. Like lately, like all week, I keep seeing posts about, why do burger flippers need $15 an hour? And I'm like, who the fuck is talking about? It's probably on Fox News.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
sure enough, you go over to Fox News and they're like, "What do burger flippers need $15 an hour?"
Yeah. I do want to back up what I said here from the page from addictinginfo.com. They have the irony of the big GOP push for voter ID laws seemed that when it came out for actual voter fraud, Republicans were often the ones who were most responsible, considering the following examples of voter fraud that have been committed over the years. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement, the FDLE, that sounds like the flower delivery service, has recently closed 2 cases of Strategic Allied Consulting, a Republican-hired vendor. Although the investigators found at least 11 voter registration forms that were questionable in their authenticity, no charges were filed due to lack of evidence. Strategic Allied Consulting is the subject of 3 ongoing cases in Florida, and the FDLE spokesman said no details could be provided for their case. And then this last November, 2 Republican voters in separate states decided to prove how easy it was to vote illegally, and they both were arrested and charged with voter fraud. So, and there's several more here I could read, but I'll digress for right now. But it's usually the Republicans who are actively engaging in voter fraud. And this is not just a Democratic bias on this. This is supported by fact. Connie, your thoughts?
I think it's interesting. She harps on how poorly informed the American voters are, and the irony is that she's saying this on Fox News. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh well, yeah.
One of the things here that was,
But it's Japanese game show porn.
Japanese game show porn. One of the thing is, I was looking here on the Wikipedia, and they had a lot of weird tests for the literacy. Now, one of the oddest ones that they gave to people. Now, this is basically focused mainly at black people to disenfranchise them, and they were giving these weird literacy tests, usually orally. They had to tell them a certain fact, but they had complete discretion if you failed or passed. So if they didn't like you for whatever reason, they could say, no, you're wrong, even if you got the question right.
Right.
And then they said, and here's some of the questions they would ask the black people there. They would say, name all 67 county judges in the state, naming the date on which Oklahoma was admitted to the Union, and then declare on how many bubbles are in a bar of soap.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bullshit
really?
questions.
These are bullshit questions. I mean, why don't you ask me how many bubbles are in a glass of beer? I don't know. To be completely honest, I don't even know these. I mean, I can reprogram computer stuff and put stuff together, and if I have to take a literacy test for like this, I would fail because I don't know these little facts.
And like literacy tests back in the day, like African Americans used to not be allowed to learn how to read and write.
Right.
And so for a couple of generations, there was high illiteracy rates amongst them. And so when it came time to vote, if they had a literacy test, it was clearly discrimination against black voters.
Yes.
Well, now we're in the 21st century. Adult illiteracy is way down low. There's very few people left anymore that don't know how to read and write. And so it's not really an issue, I don't think. Like,
I actually knew somebody a number of years ago, about 10, 15 years ago.
No, I know there's still illiterate people.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying that like Ann Coulter's arguing that these people are illiterate and therefore they're not smart enough to vote.
Right.
But being smart and knowing how to read and write is not the issue, and that's even a small percentage of the total population that don't know how to read and write.
Right.
Voting is a right. It's guaranteed to us by the Constitution. We have a right as a citizen to vote.
Right.
We don't have to own land. We don't have to read. We don't have to name all the judges in the state because that's bullshit.
Right.
All we have to do is show up and say, I support that person over that person.
Yep, that's right.
And that's it. That's all that's required of you.
Exactly. Connie, did you have any additional thoughts on that? I apologize. We were having those technical difficulties.
No, that's fine. No, I think that Ann Coulter's problem is with brown people.
Oh, yeah.
She's, like I said, she's hawking a new book, Adios America, how the left wants to turn America into a third world hellhole.
Yeah.
And she just wants to prevent all of the undesirable people from voting. She is the she-wolf of the SS, and I think that it's just, it's disgusting. And she's dismissive, and she's poisoning the well. She's just awful. She's an ugly, ugly person.
She's an
Because Joe really said everything that and even things I hadn't even thought of to saying, that voting is our right. And
yeah.
I don't think we should make it harder for people to vote. I just think that, maybe our campaigns should be have more substance in them and not be some damn popularity race and who can chase after the biggest corporation to fund them.
Right.
I don't know.
There-
It's stupid. The more people who vote, the more. Anyway.
Well,
Adding on what Connie
based
just,
on
Packard.
Yes.
Adding on what Connie just said.
Yeah.
I support the idea of mandatory voting.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say that there's actually a state that this is the first state. I could be wrong on which state it is. I think it's Washington State, Connie. I think it's your state. I might be wrong. I know it's out west somewhere, where the lady that had proposed a bill, and then she became governor, and so she got to actually sign the bill that she actually put forth to the committee or to the Senate or whatever. To where you are automatically, as long as you have a driver's license or identification, you are automatically already registered to vote. You don't need to go and
Governor Gregoire.
Yeah.
Yes, she was 3-term governor, I think.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah, she got to. Yeah, she got to put forth. She got to sign a bill that she put forth to have everybody be automatically registered. And California, I think, was going to be the second state to do this.
What I'm talking about is beyond automatic registration. I'm talking about mandatory voting. Like, if you're a citizen of this society, then you should be required on election day to go and cast your vote.
I know. You know what? Actually, on that point, I don't agree. We should be able to choose if you want to vote, but
People, when they first hear that idea, get upset because they're like, "Oh, no, personal freedoms." Well, in Australia, they had the same problems we have now. In Australia, they were like, "Oh, well, the far right and the far left keep electing their whack jobs into the legislature, and then the legislature doesn't get anything done." So what they did 25 years ago is they made voting mandatory.
Really?
Everybody has to vote. And so what result has come of that? 25 years later, they have a government that is responsive to all of the people.
Better represents the people.
Not just the people who showed up on election day. They're responsive to everyone. And
Okay.
the whack jobs of the far left and the far right don't get elected anymore because all the moderates show up.
Well,
and it
all right,
worked.
okay.
It freaking worked.
Can I ask
Holy
what the
crap,
incentive?
something worked.
Go ahead.
Can I ask what the incentive or the decentive? What's the result if people don't vote?
Yeah,
Is
I was
there
just going to ask that. Thank you,
I-
Connie.
honestly, I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
But people say, like, well, there are things the government makes us do. Every year we have to file our taxes.
Yes.
Right.
If we get called up for jury duty, we have to go.
Yes.
Well,
So
yeah.
voting is just going to be one more of those things. We live in a society. We enjoy each other and our government and all the things that we benefit from it. We have to have a say in it. We have to actually show up. And this would do away with all of the limitations like voter restrictions, voter suppression, literacy tests, all of that crap, that debate goes out the window because everybody has to vote.
As long as they're of legal age to vote, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's an interesting proposal.
Yeah, 5-year-olds. Yeah, I know, right? When I first heard it, I was like, "That's bullshit, personal freedom." But then when I heard, there's what has been tried and what results has it gotten.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
I
And
do
President
too.
Obama recently mentioned it in a speech, and people were like all upset all over the internet, like, "Oh my God, what the fuck is he talking?" No, it's a good idea. Let's do it.
Well, if Bush
Dawkins
had said
dog
it,
for
they'd
the
probably
chair.
be waving the flag. Sorry.
Dawkins dog in the chat room says it's a $20 fine if you don't vote. So.
Oh my God. So it's your personal freedom to pay $20 to not vote. There you go. There's your personal freedom.
That's, I bet you there are some people out there that they would say, you know what, here's $20, go fuck off.
Yeah. I've also heard some critics of it say, well, okay, fine, mandatory voting, but there has to be an option for write-in. And I don't know how I feel about that, because then there would be well, what happens if Mickey Mouse wins? But at the same time, that might be a fair compromise. Like, okay, you have to vote, but you can vote for whoever you want. I vote for Connie in every election.
Oh, thank you. Yay.
By the-
Cookies for everybody.
By the way, if you want to get in your voice on the show and give us your opinions, you can call 857-216-3200. Use PIN number 35368 or go to uberconference.com/Packard Pokes At. That's uberconference.com/Packard Pokes At. That's if you want to, voice your opinions out here on the show. Speaking of people who are voicing their opinion, we have a clip of some people who would like to wish us a happy anniversary, and we're going to show that right now.
Hey, Packard and all the Packard peeps. Congratulations on 4 years of broadcasting excellence. You truly put the might in sodomite. And, hey, if you guys haven't already checked out my channel, what the frick is wrong with you? It's amazing. It's the best channel that's ever been created by a cat that was zapped by God through the internet. I guarantee it. So check it out. You don't have to, but if you don't, you'll totally burn in hell. Later.
I'll be honest, the first time that I saw Packard Pokes At was when you asked me to be a guest on it. After that, I was genuinely surprised at how few subscribers you have for the quality content that you put out. I really love not only the topics that you pick, but the way that you pick the titles for the show. I also think it's really fantastic how you provide sort of a mix between humor and information. There's a good deal of serious discussion as well as not keeping it too heavy. I think you do a fantastic job with not only the presentation of the topics, but also the editing that you do in post as well. Here's hoping to another 4 years and then another 4 more, and happy 4-year birthday anniversary, whatever you want to call it for the show. Glad that I could be able to send you one of these wishes. Take it easy.
And that was, first off, Creationist Cat. You can find him at Creationist Cat on YouTube. And then that second video, that was Lee Lemon. She was supposed to join us a few weeks ago, but she was unable to due to certain issues at the time. But I thank both of them for sending their congratulations to us. Thank you very much.
Very kind words.
Very kind words. Very kind words.